What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? This is JC, and welcome to the Wealth Engineering Podcast. I create content to motivate you to increase your net worth, retire early, and build generational wealth. So, how do we do this, guys? We do this through stocks, crypto, real estate, and business. So, if you have started your financial journey or you're about to start, this is the right place for you. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell. So I see a lot of you are already here. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being early on the chat. Thank you for your support. And what are we going to talk about today? Today is a very interesting topic. Today is a very important topic. And it's a topic that you may think that you know. You may think you may know what money is. But after today's topic, you may have a different perception of what money is, and you might even realize why this information, which is basic information, it's people that don't know it, they're making mistakes that is stopping them from growing wealth, that is keeping them on living paycheck to paycheck. And it's because people are working for the wrong reasons. And we're going to talk about that today. And what I'm talking about is currency versus money. But before I get there, let me give a couple shout outs. Shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out to all my OG in the chat, my wealth engineers. And thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being early. I see lots of comments here. J Bones, always there. First guy to be here. Thank you very much. Peter M. Wally. We were there talking very late yesterday. Shout out to you, Wally. Simsia. I keep calling you Simsima, man. It reminds me of that song back in the 90s. Simsima. Who got the keys to my Bima? So, yeah, that's what your name remind me of, man. But shout out to you. Thank you for coming here early. Peter M. Peter Investor M. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. And yes, guys, Lashes, thank you for coming here. She's living this retired life, you know. Every day I'm at work and I see her stream. She's like in her garden, you know, watching snakes coming in her garden. Got snakes in the grass. So shout out to you, Lashes. Thank you for coming here. And yes, guys, DJ Flip, thank you again. We got a very important topic today, and I'm happy you guys are early because this is serious, guys. This is serious. So, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about what is money. But before we get there, let me know in your chat what is the current definition to you. What is money? How do you define money? I'm very interested in the chat. But that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. At the end of it, we're going to talk about what is money, what is currency. I'm going to show you the difference between currency and money. We're going to say, we're going to understand the history of money. And I'm going to give you kind of like a summary. I go in deep details in my course of this. Like in my course, the first module is all about history of money because understanding that alone can help you make better decisions. And the better you understand, like Winston Churchill says, the further you can see in the past, the further you can see in the future. And this is very important with money. And as an investor, we have to keep our eyes open, focus on the future, right? So that's why it's important to understand history. So we're going to talk about all that, store of value. What is a store of value? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about inflation. Now, this is not going to be the only topic I'm going to make about inflation, but we're definitely going to tackle that today. I'll show you some examples. And again, I'm also going to talk a little bit about forex. Forex is a exchange of currency, and then you're going to tell me if it's a good idea to keep pushing for forex when you understand really what is currency and what is the future of currency, right? So there is that too. And then when we talk about currencies, we also have to talk about cryptos. So I'm going to show you why cryptocurrencies are a better version of a currency than the fiat dollars, for example. And we'll get into there. And I have a surprise for you. Actually, I have two surprises for you. So shout out to you if you're here. First surprise is I did a montage. Actually, I did the montage last year, but I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you who haven't seen it yet. It's a montage of my favorite movie of all time, Matrix, and also my favorite content online when it comes to financial education. So I mixed the two to give you an idea about how money is made, why why you're working for the wrong reasons, how the government keeps you as a slave. We're going to talk about all that. I'm going to give you the financial red pill today. So yes, we have a lot to talk about. So that's my first surprise for you. We're going to that towards the end. And my second surprise for you guys. Guys, tomorrow I have a crazy stream getting ready for you. I still have to work on it tonight, but I already started the work on it. And man, you do not want to miss. You do not want to miss tomorrow's stream. Okay. You do not want to miss. In fact, this stream is so important. And I don't want to do it. I actually didn't want to do it at first publicly. I wanted to do it just for my Discord server members. But for my subscribers, I didn't want to let you guys down. All you guys in the chat, I did not want to let you guys down. So what I'm going to do, my streams tomorrow is going to be at 8 p.m. We're going to do a live. It's going to be public, and after I'm going to remove it off YouTube, and it's going to be available to the Discord member only. So if you're here live, you'll get to see it, and then if you're not, then hopefully you can go on the Discord and find it, because all you have to do is sign up on the Discord. It will be available there on the general chat, on the general channels. So you won't need to pay for anything to get it. It's just that this is the kind of secrets, guys, that can give you a heads up. And the more people that know about it, then the less leverage you have. And ooh, I'm telling you guys, you do not want to miss this. But hey, let's keep going with the topic today. But I did ask you earlier today, what were your definition about money? So I'm very curious to see how many of you are attempting to answer this question. So let me see if I can see some on the chat. Uh, Karine. Yes, that name reminds me of Simsi. I'm telling you, every time I see this name, I'm like, yo, back in the days, Simsima. Yo, I love this song, right? Every time I see a BMW, I sing that song. So shout out to you, Simsia. What else? What else? So yeah, guys, I'm very curious. Any of you have want to define, based on you, what is money? How do you define money? Shout out to you, Bruno. Thank you for coming here. I'm very lashes with the patois. Yeah, nice, nice. But yes, guys, serious. I'm very interested in your definition of money. Hey, you do not want to miss lashes. You do not want to miss tomorrow's stream. We're going to talk about cryptos. I'm going to simplify it a lot for you using. Anyway, I don't want to give too much details. Just go check the title if you're interested. Go check it out. But you do not want to miss tomorrow's stream, guys. All right. Any question? Any definition? All right. So here's one. You can use money under the currency of a country. Any currency can be exchanged into money and used on that country. Interesting comments. Interesting comments. So let's see. We're gonna get into that. I'm working on funding investments and growth. Perfect. That's it, man. That's the way to grow. That's the way to go. You gotta grow a portfolio, and you'll notice your as a person, you'll be growing as well, because you gotta be a mature man or woman to handle your portfolio. Currency is usually government fiat issued. Money is a commodity based on medium of exchange. Hmm. Hmm. Now I'm going to make that very simple definition, and you'll understand exactly what money. But I glad like you guys are going out, but that looks like a Google definition, to be honest. But I'm happy that you guys are trying to answer it. Let me see, Natasha Vincent. Nice to see you here, guys. Nice definition. Money is access. Is that true? Is that true? Let's look at Mr. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, right? I wonder if he still has access to his girlfriend after Leo, after she saw Leo very up close. I don't know. It's not all access, but it definitely helps with a lot of things. Government issues, not necessarily true. Not necessarily true, and that's why I saw that comment earlier also. But hey, it's definitely there in the modern time. But hey, I'll give you an example. Hey, Bitcoin is a currency, right? It's not government issued, so that's why I disagree with this comment. My definition at 7:45. Wally. All right. I get to it. I'll get to it. Okay, so I prepared some slides for you guys. Again, some these slides I also share them on my course, but I'll it's kind of like I narrow it down for you. So the simple definition of money is a medium of exchange. Now, most people get stuck at there. Medium of exchange. So what is a medium of exchange? You know, I want to buy this remote, right? Or I want to have this remote and someone wants to get this pen. So how are we going to settle this? Is this pen worth the value of this remote? Let's assume that it does, right? So we need a place, a time, and a way that I can extract my value and you can extract your value. So back in the days, there used to be no money at all. We had barter system, right? And the medium of exchange was simply the value that I wanted to have at the time. So if I really desperately wanted to write a letter to my wife because I was at war and I was about to die and I wanted to make sure my wife knows where's the money stash up, or where how to raise my kid and all that. So at that moment right there, I desperately need a pen. A pen is a lot more valuable to me at that time than a remote, right? If I was at the war. So in that case, I'm willing to give anything. So if the guy who has the pen is okay with having a remote, I'll swap it. And then therefore, we exchange value, right? We exchange value. I get my pen. I get to write to my wife, tell her goodbye, and tell her where the money stash up for my kids, for my legacy. And then this guy gets to be lazy on his couch and he doesn't have to stand up to turn on the TV anymore. All right. So at that moment right there, we have an exchange of value, but the medium, there was necessarily no medium. We had to be physically there, right? So that's where the concept of currency was created, to help facilitate this transfer of value. So what is money? Is a medium of value exchange that store your time and your freedom. Now, this is the part that most people do not consider in the definition of money. Medium of value exchange that store your time and your freedom, right? So if we had to focus on three words, it's value, time, and freedom. Okay, so now we're using the dollar as currency. So again, we're using it as currency, and most people are calling it money. Now, is the dollar can be used as a way to exchange value? Yes, because let's say we had the same transaction again, and uh, I put a dollar amount of $10 on this pen and $10 on this remote. So if I had $10, I could exchange what is valuable for me, which is the pen, or maybe at some other time I could go buy this remote for $10 as well. So at that moment, whenever I want, I can convert my dollars into value for me. So that's why it's because, again, remember in the example, the pen was only valuable to me at the war when I had the bullet and I was bleeding, right? If I wasn't at the war and I was just fishing, I wouldn't need a pen. So at that moment, it's not valuable. But if I was fishing, I would need like tools. I would need like I would need to buy some bait so that the fish can bite on. So that's what is valuable to me when I'm fishing. So because your value, your needs, your want, because all that changes, it's not practical to go walking with physical things and hoping to find someone who's gonna want it. It's better to have the currency that you can exchange of value, and then whenever you want it, you go buy it and then you exchange it for something else. So that's what value is, right? Whatever you want and need at the current time. But Does currency solve this issue right here, the time and freedom? We can say if I have $10 million, I can do a lot of things, I can be free. True, but what about the concept of time? And that's where the definition comes very, very interesting. So to keep it simple, uh, medium, and I borrowed this definition from, and I'll be talking to him more about. I'll be talking about him more on this stream. But his name is Mike Maloney. He's a very smart man. He has a YouTube channel, and he's probably one of the most influential people that I've met online that has influenced my way of thinking about wealth. That is the foundation of the wealth engineering principle. A lot of things I told you guys, the wealth engineering principle is some amalgamation of bunch of different thoughts and ideas and techniques all mixed into one simple step. But this guy right here, Mike Maloney, was very influential in the way I think about money. So yes, I borrowed this definition from him. Now, when he made this definition, he said that it's a medium of value. He says that it's a medium of exchange. He did not say value. I modified his definition to add the word value, because if you don't add the word value in this definition, then it's not money. And I'll make you, you'll understand better what I mean. So although he taught me, and that's exactly this sentence right here, I wanted to add the word value exchange to save a crucial important factor of money that most people forget. And understanding this simple thing alone will go a long way. All right. So let's break it down again. This is all the criterias to have money, and this is all the criterias to have currency. There is only one thing that is missing, and that I'm going to add later. All right. So, but let's go through the criterias. The criterias are a medium of exchange. We've already talked about that. Unit of account. Well, I need to be able to count it like $1, $2, $10. It makes it easier to count value, to exchange value. Portable, right? If we think about the history of money, people used to use like seashells as money because it was portable. If you go back in the early days, they used to use coins, like gold coins. The gold could be heavy, but if you break it in coins, then you also have it divisible. You also have it portable. So that's what they used to use as money, right? And we're gonna understand why later. But portable, we have to talk about that. Durable, and yes, money needs to be durable. But let's say you have a lot of like a giant stash of currency, right? Think of Breaking Bad, and then you had like a huge stash of money, or like that Colombian guy. I forgot. I always forget his name, right? The narco inspired guy. But hey, if you had a huge stash of money and you didn't know where to put it, you put it under like on your basement, or you create a giant hole in it. Would it be able to stay there and be intact for 10, 20 years? Right? Not really. Like the humidity will like destroy the paper. You have water, right? Yeah. Shout out to you, Simcia Pablo Escobar. And I actually that was a scene on Narco. He was like shoving holes and dumping like loads and loads of money into the hole. And yes, but how long can you leave it in there, right? So that's the important part. How long can you leave it in there? And is currency is money, because yes, it's durable for a year, for two, but it depends on where you save it. So for the most part, how we're currently using currency in our society, we put it in our wallet, we put it, in a safe, right? For the most part, it is durable. But if we're thinking about it very long term, then yeah, currency can play a factor, especially when it's paper. If you are in a house, the house gets lots of water in it, right? Your currency is gone. If your house gets burnt, your paper currency is gone, right? So how do you protect yourself against that? Divisible. Again, if you have $1, you can break it down in 10 cents. You can break it down in 50 cents. So, and in crypto is super divisible. It's actually Bitcoin is divisible by 8. So You can have like $8. You can have one Bitcoins and divide it into like 0.0000, etc. one, right? So it's very divisible, not like the dollar, for example, which the dollar is still doing the best that it can in our current society, right? Uh, yes, facts. Rotting money was an issue, and it's yeah. There's a lot of drug dealers that are learning it the hard way. To them, these drug dealers, they understand the true value of currency, right? Because they push it to the limit. Now, again, as I mentioned, money and currency, if we're thinking about it as the dollar, has the same properties for the most part. There is only one thing that is missing in this definition to have the real money, and it is the store of value. Store of value. And this is why I change. And by the way, any economists in the world, they will all agree with the criteria that we have listed here. They will all tell you money is a store of value, currency is not. All right, we're going to understand that better. So this is like a textbook definition, and it's so easy to confuse them because if you remove the store of value, they look the same, right? And this is where 80% of the population go wrong because they look the same, you call currency money, right? So when you go to work, you work for, you think you're working for money, but in fact, you're working for currencies. You get paid, in currencies, right? And understanding the difference between currency and money is crucial because if you know the difference, if you're aware of the difference, the minute you get paid, what do you have? You do not have something that stores its value. You have something that does not store its value, right? That's what you have. And the true store value, that is what's considered money. And that is the major difference between money and currency. Now, the reason why I was mentioning all macroeconomists would agree to this definition is because they also make the same mistake. They call currency money. They call currency money. So they're adding to the confusion. They're not making it easy for people out there, right? So that's what they're doing, guys. They're called currency money, and money is not something that loses its value. Meaning, if you work for $1 worth of money, that means 10 years from now, assuming that you saved it somewhere in your safe, you still have $1 worth of money. It does not loses its purchase power over time, right? Let's go back to that definition. What did the definition say? Medium of exchange, that medium of value exchange that store your time and your freedom. Store. How do you preserve it? And if we're talking about generational wealth, this is a crucial element to generational wealth because you want to make sure all the work you have done is stored so that your next generation can inherit it, can have its full purchase power. If you stash $100,000 worth of currency, what happens to it? What happens to it, guys? First, it might not even last 30 years. Shout out to Simsia. Why? Because of this issue right here. Rotting money was an issue to the drug dealers, and it could be an issue to you too. Another reason why, um, currency will lose its value is because of how it is created. Shout out to you, inflation. But before we get to the word inflation, we got to discuss about how money is created. And to understand how money is created, I want to go back a little bit in the history of money. Shout out to you guys. I see you guys being active in the chat. Thank you again. See a cash flow hunter, currency or money, the government. The government want it all. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You want to stick out for the video I have for you, man. You definitely want to see that. I have a video at the end I want to show you. But again, guys, let's go back. And in my course, we break it down. And if you let's say that, assuming that you didn't want to stay until the end, I'll let you know right now. Make sure you go check out Mike's Maloney video called Hidden Secret of Money. All right. It's actually a documentary of 10 different videos that he goes on talking about money. And every single one of them is a work of art. It's probably one of the most underrated content online in any sector. It's it's that important. I'm telling you guys, I had bunch of things I was doing: trading, investing, option, all that, and I was trying to look for a way to build wealth, and then I accidentally land up on Hidden Secret of Money, because there was around 2016, around 2017, I was consuming about 30 to 40 content per day, all in the sector, all talking about finances, investing, personal finances, all that, right? So I end up landing on a video from Hidden Secret of Money, right? And once I figured it out, once I understood what he was talking about, everything that I was doing, I was able to puzzle it into one strategy. So it's that impactful to me. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to Mike Maloney. If I end up, go check it out. He talks a lot about the history of money. But anyway, I'm going to focus on a section that he was talking about, only to drive the point across, because we were talking about inflation. But to really understand inflation, there's something else you need to understand. You see, it wasn't easy to walk around with a bag of gold, especially back in the days. You could literally get robbed, right? And if you get robbed with a bag of gold on your hand, that could be your entire wealth gone. And that's truly wealth, because gold is still valuable till this day, correct? So that's basically how currency started. Currency started as a project, as a receipt. When you buy something, they give you a receipt. You can use that receipt to reduce your taxes, or it's just a receipt saying that in that day and time, you bought amount, you bought this item at that amount. Tells you exactly this is it, and you own it, right? You keep your receipts. So that's what a currency was. A currency was supposed to be a receipt for true money. And back in the days, what were we using as money? We were using gold, precious metal, as money. Now, why was gold money? When gold was money in Egyptian time, gold was money now, and anywhere in between we had gold. So gold was always fundamental in our economy, and it still is. But why was gold valuable then, and why was gold valuable now? But why is gold still valuable now? It's because gold has a property in it. First of all, it's rare. It can only be created should a star is exploding. That's when you have particles of gold in the space. And as you have like the planet building around it, rebuilding itself again, then the gold latches itself on Earth. So it's very rare. You can't multiply it. You can't copy it. It's either you have gold or not. The same gold that we have from Egyptian time, it's still the same gold that we're recycling and using over and over again. And that's, yes, right? So that property alone makes gold a very good candidate for money, because it's something that people want to wear. There is like an attraction to it. People want, because people want to use it as jewelry alone makes it valuable. So you know that metal will not No matter what happens to it, fire, uh, we have an asteroid hit us, we're still going to have gold on Earth, but humans will not be there. So that ability to resist anything makes gold valuable. On top of that, you can use it for jewelry, and then you can also use it now for technology. When I used to make circuit boards, gold was a very conductive conductor for electricity. So because it's a very easy conductor for electricity, it makes my circuit boards easier. If I'm doing something that needs a lot of data transfer, like I'm talking to a computer and we're talking about like gigabytes per second, well, a board like that is going to be done on gold. I'm going to use gold to create that circuit board as opposed to silver, as opposed to any other metals out there. Why? Because I need a super good connection. I need a clean connection. Gold pin seems, yeah, you're an engineer, sir. You understand, you seems to understand that part very well. So yes. So we're living in a world of electronics. So assuming I didn't we weren't using gold for jewelry, assuming that gold wouldn't be able to survive asteroid hit us, dinosaurs still dying, but gold is still there. Assuming that wasn't true, then gold would still be very valuable because of electronics. Why? Because we value electronics, right? In this cell phone, there is a circuit board. There might be gold in it, right? In my computer, there is a circuit board. There might be gold in it, right? In this camera, there is a circuit board. Everywhere we go, we use electronics, and it's just going to get worse. I mean, more electronics and more electronics. We're going to have AR glasses. Bet you there's going to be some gold pin in it. So it's gold, just so that value alone makes sure that if you buy a stash of gold, you will always have a demand for it, because the demand of electronics keep growing and growing, and the demand for jewelries are still growing and growing, and we can't make more gold. That's where the value comes in. Another way of defining value is, hey, if you have a limited supply and you have an increase in demand, the value increased. Another way that we show that value increases is by increasing the price of the item. That reflects that there is a high demand and a low supply of this item, right? So that's what would happen for gold. And that's why gold has always been and will probably always will be a form of money, because it is one of the best thing we have in the world that meets all these requirements. Now, it's not easy to devise gold, but it can be done. And it's not easy to have portable gold. You can have it in coins, but once you have enough coins, it's going to be a problem. Hence, why we created currencies. We created currencies as a receipt for gold. And they changed the rate around the years, but I'm just going to focus on starting the 1944 until 1971. We had the global system that we're using at the time was called the Bretton Woods system. And it was a system that paired all the currencies in the world with US dollar. And then the US dollar was paired with gold. Now, how much gold? It was 1 ounce of gold for 35 US dollars. Now, let me talk to you guys a little bit. You know what that means? That means if I go to the bank and I have $35 in currency, the bank must give me 1 ounce of gold. That's what it means. That was the purpose of banks, because to solve the issue of gold being portable. Instead of carrying my gold all around the place, I put it in my safe in the bank. You put yours in your safe in the bank, and we carry around currencies, papers. It's light. We can put it in a wallet. We have an entire wallet industry growing up. and it's become a fashion item now. And then when I actually need the gold, I go in the bank, I give my receipts, they give me back the money, right? There was a clear distinction between currency and money. And people back in the days, they knew that. They knew perfectly the difference between currency and money. And they did not want currency. They will not exchange currency for money at any time in their life. But government wants to be able to print more currencies so that they can go to war. And notice that the Bretton Woods system started around 1944, right? That was right towards the end of the Second War. It's because the previous system they had, they push it to the limit where they couldn't expend more money anymore. So they went with this. Shout out with you, us. Shout out with you. Let me see what's going on here. Lashes. Me too. I'm always doing my search of information. Self education is everything. School teachers on how to be. Yes, yes, yes. And trust me, you will understand that very clearly at the end when you see my video montage of the two favorite content I've seen in my life. All right. But that was the purpose of currency, guys. Currency was simply a receipt, a paper. You could have, assuming that there was another way to verify your wealth, you could have literally thrown out your receipt and still go to the bank and collect your gold. Still have your money. That's how useless currency was. It was simply a receipt to your real money. But we got to a point where I think after the Second World War, there was another war with Vietnam that the U.S. wanted to do, and we talk about that on the group on the course. And if you wanna, you can talk about that also. The stage. I'm not going to discuss the stage today, but all that to say, there is a correlation between war and currency change, like world monetary currency being changed. And around that time, there was the Vietnam War, and the U.S. needed a lot of U.S. dollars. There was something that happened with France, where France realized that the U.S. printed so much money that they have basically 12 times the amount of U.S. dollars circulating in the world as opposed to gold that actually existed. So back in, we supposed to have $35 for 1 ounce of gold, right? But the amount of money that we actually had circulating was basically like over $400, 400 US dollars worth for every ounce of gold that was in the bank. So technically, if everyone tried to collect back their gold, they go to the bank, they ask, hey, give me, this is my receipt, give me back my gold. um, they would be able to do it until they get to a point where they realize, hey, all the gold is gone from the Federal Reserve, and then you still have tons of currency out there. So this is a huge scam on the world. They're giving the world because, hey, now the US dollar is paired with pesos, it's paired with European currencies. So technically, it's as good as gold, right? But the US government printed so much gold and so much paper that they were buying a bunch of things from other currencies with money that wasn't really backed by gold. And then France, there was a famous general called Charles de Gaulle. He realized this. He's like, nope, I'm going to exchange all my currencies for gold. That's what he started doing. And he started doing that for almost 10 years until we were to a point where it was going to be a crisis, because we were just at the point, and that happened in 1971. In 1971, we were just at the point, we were hours away from the world figuring out the scam, because we were going to run out of gold. We were going to run out of gold, and the world would still realize that they have this receipt in their hands and there is no more gold, right? Hours away. And this is what is known back in the day. Yeah, we had the President Nixon. President Nixon was talking to the public about breaking backs of inflation, breaking the back of inflation, right? But he had to declare a national emergency that day. I told you we were hours away from the world discovering the scam. So he had to declare a national emergency. And what did he do that day? He created the current system that we have now. And that system is what we're still using 50 years from now, which is called the dollar standard. Before we were on, actually, there was a point we were on the gold standard, then it was diluted to the Bretton Woods system. And then on 1971, at that day, we had the dollar system created. Yes, guys. Yes, yes. Please hit the like button. Very important content, guys. You guys need to understand all this because, man, you need to work for the real things, not currency. You need to understand the difference between currency and money, and you need to work for money. You need to buy money. You need to preserve money and spend the currency. But guys, that's what happened. That day he had and you can actually find the speech on YouTube. You can he basically talked about it. Then what he did was he removed the link between the gold and the US dollars. Why did he do that? He did that because there was no more gold anymore to give. So he's like, you know what? We're a superpower in the world. With all the fake currency we had, we bought tons of things. We established our power in all over the place. We built bases all around the world with huge, heavy military stuff, right? The military index complex, whatever they call it. And yes, guys, that's what they were doing with the money, right? They were converting their currency, their fake currency, to have more power in the world. But at that time, the power was big enough, and they're like, you know what? I know all your currencies are paired with my US dollars, and I know I'm supposed to give you gold as a receipt, but I don't feel like doing that today, man. I don't feel like doing that today. Why would I do that today? We need to control this inflation thing going on here. So we're going to have to stop giving gold. That's what he's doing. And it was supposed to be, that's the fun part, guys. That's the fun part. It was supposed to be temporary, only until we could sort it out, fix it, you know. Then we will get back on schedule. And 50 years later, we're still on the dollar standard. And this is why we have generations that are growing up that do not know the difference between currency and money. Because since 1971, we have not used money anymore. The minute Nixon did this, cut the tie between the dollar and the gold, currency was no longer money. So I asked you earlier why. I asked you earlier basically that people were confusing money and currency. Well, it's not their fault. For years, generations, currency was money, right? Currency was money. But what happened? One day, he decided to cut the tie between currency and money. So, because we use the vocabulary of currency and money, currency was money. Therefore, we don't need to say currency, currency, too long. Money, much easier. We're not going to change our vocabulary just because something temporary happened, right? That's why currency stayed money in our vocabulary until now. But in reality, it wasn't. It wasn't. Let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys something. I wanted to prepare this before the stream, but forgot about it. But I wanted to show you guys this. I want to show you something, guys. But before I do, make sure you hit the like button, guys. See you guys saying great content. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is very important content, guys, to know. I'm telling you guys, the day I binge watch Hidden Secrets of Money. And it took me a while before I figured it out. Like I watched this, I actually watch this content every year, at least once a year. Since 2017, it's been once a year. But between 2016, 17, I watched it like almost every week. And every time I watch it, I learn something new. My perception changes, right? So I get something new out of it. But guys, this is a very important content. Hidden Secrets of Money changed my entire perception about money. It talks a lot about history, and you need to understand things like this, guys. So here's a chart I have. Let me share my screen. So what are we looking at here is basically gold versus like it's US dollar an ounce of gold. All right. So basically, what this chart means, for 1 ounce of gold, we need $1,800, $1,855. All right. Remember, there used to be a time 1 ounce of gold was 35 US dollars. Let's say your grandparent bought lots of gold, put it on a bank. Mhm. They had gold, not currency. And then somehow that money is saved, you never spend it. It was inherited to your dad and then it passed down to you. Well, for every ounce of gold that person bought at for $35, it would now be worth $1,800. Okay? But there's something I want to show you. I want to show you what happened before. Right? We're looking at this is 1934. That's when we started tracking this unit here. 1934. It's kind of stayed flat. The dollar versus ounce of gold was flat, and it was around the $35, right? That's what we're talking about, the Bretton Woods system. Flat. Until we get to a point where 1970, okay. And very interesting. 1968, it went from $35 to 40 bucks. The next year it dropped to 35 and then it started to go. But we're basically seeing some action here. And that was when we were huge inflation. We had huge inflation. And how does inflation gets created? It's from printing money. When you print money, it devalues the current money that it. So my bad, guys. My bad. I'm using the wrong terms. Let me rewind it back, guys. Let me rewind it back. How does inflation get created? By printing currency. We're printing currencies, and if let's say there is only $101 bill in the economy, that means every dollar is worth one, and there is only 100 of them. So that means if you have $1, you're rich, because there is millions of people in the city, and there is only $100 bill. But if the next year the government says we're going to print 1 million $1 bill, now your $1 bill doesn't worth shit because everyone has it. Everyone has it. Where I could have bought a house for $1 because I was one out of 100 people in the city that had this bill, I can no longer do that anymore because I'm going to go to this guy and say, I have $1 too. I'm not going to give you my house for that. So it devalues the purchase power of your dollar every time the government prints money. And around that time, we were right in the talks of the war. Money are being printed, currency are being printed to pay for the war, right? Creating inflation, creating also price in gold because gold has to catch up with the amount of currency that is in circulation, right? because it's not fair for there is only $100 bill and only 100 of them in circulation, and all of a sudden a million people have $1 bill and they can buy the same gold at the same price. No, we have to catch the purchase power. So if there was only 100 people that could have bought it when there is $1 bill for 100 people, then we need to raise the price of gold so that it matches in a way that only 100 people can still buy it with the purchase power they had. So that's why the prices change when currency are being printed. And that's what we're seeing here. We didn't start the Bretton Woods system yet, but you see some price fluctuation here. It's because of money printing. I bet you that time you see there is a step here and it's not going anywhere. Maybe it is. We're just not seeing it. Actually, we do. There you go. Look at this. Look at this. If we go see the price of gold, like in 1900s, 1920, it was $20. It was $20 for an ounce of gold, and it stayed flat. That's money, guys. That is money right here. Look at this. Look at this graph. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Look at this graph, guys. You see how it stays flat here? We're looking at 1920, 1920, 1900s, 1800s, 1836 for $20 1 ounce of gold. So imagine this, guys. I could have bought as a slave 10 ounces of gold for 200 US dollars. Okay? Save it on somewhere in the barn in the 1834, the year 1834, and then nearly 100 years later, let's say 95 years later, my next generations, maybe 3, 4, 5 generations at this time, are still enjoying the same purchase power. The same purchase power. Meaning whatever 10 ounces of gold could have bought in 1834, that same ounce of gold could have bought it at 1929. That is a store of value, guys. That is a store of value. That was money then. But in 1971, when we became we quit the Bretton Woods system and we got into the dollar system, then we started to see a huge price jump from $35, $40, all the way to like 600, 400, 200, and then back up again to thousands, right? That's what we saw. Back then, this was cryptocurrency for them. Back then, if you're like Peter Schiff, if you were like let's say the baby boomers, they were all in buying gold, right? Or they had currency as well. They didn't care because it was stable. And you figure it out that, hey, we're going through something weird, we better buy gold. Then it's kind of like the same thing happening now where people are switching to cryptocurrencies, and we're seeing the same curves with cryptocurrencies, right? But that's why the price changed, because the minute Nixon did that, it opened the floodgates for the Federal Reserve to print as much currency as possible without any effect, without any side effect, because they had no one to keep them accountable for. They don't need to be accountable for the amount of currency they have in circulation. So they could print more. And the world still thinks currency is money. In fact, what Nixon did, the US dollar is so good, you don't even need war anymore. You don't even need gold anymore. You just need our dollar. And that's what I was trying to show you with this. Prior to Bretton Woods, all the world major currency was tied to the US dollar. But when he did that, he cut the gold but the other currencies were still tied to the US dollars. And that right there is the creation of what we call Forex. That right there is how Forex was created. We were in need of a foreign exchange industry because we needed to know how to value each other currencies in the world as opposed to the dollar. That's why all the major currencies in the world, whether it's euros, whether it's Australian dollar, pounds, pesos, all of them, we evaluate that with US dollar. That's why. It's because of this. It was already like that, but it was all paired to gold. And the minute we remove gold, US dollar has become the new symbolic gold. But it's not worth the same. It does not have the same properties than gold, right? Gold is not a store value. I mean, gold is a store value. Currency is not a store value. It won't last years if you put it underneath your mattress. If the fire burns, it's not the same, right? Let me see what people are saying here. It just means that the government has lied to us. School, we lose in the long run by saving money. You lose in the long run by saving currency. When you understand how currency works, you realize there is no such thing as saving currency. There is a such thing as saving money, but there is no such thing as saving currency. And as long as we have this, gold we move to the currency, or any type of real money we move to currency. As long as we have that, then yeah, there is no such thing as saving currency, but there is such thing as saving money. All right. We are coming up in the era of Bitcoin dominance instead of US dollar dominance, aka oil, petrodollar. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Bitcoin is already the sixth largest currency in the world already. Now I don't know if you heard, but there's a lot of countries in South America that are already adopting Bitcoin as a legal currency used in the country. And it actually helps them stay stable because their currency are going to inflate in so many ways that they need some level of stability. And despite the dips, Bitcoin is still more stable and more safe. And they know you cannot print more Bitcoin, right? You cannot print more Bitcoin, just like you cannot create more gold. That's where the value comes in. You US dollar, Federal Reserve can decide to print tons of it. And if they do that, it devalues the amount of dollar that this country had, that poor country had. It devalues their purchase power in the world. It devalues what they can buy, right? They don't have the printing machine to print US dollars like US. So basically, it's like I want to buy anything in the world. I just print money and I go buy it. That's what the US has been doing for years. Shout out to you, J Bones. Absolutely. And it's not just El Salvador. It's not. There's like at least three countries that came out in this summer saying that they'll adopt Bitcoin. It's legit. Let me show you guys. I talked about this before. I talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again because this is very relevant in this discussion. Remember, guys, started here. We started printing tons of money, tons of money. And then look at this again. After the boom, the internet, we had a bull run. There was a crash around 2001. And then there was also the war, printed more money, right? That's the terror war with Bin Laden and all that. Printed more money. Look what happened to the gold versus dollar, right? Did a war happen here? I don't think so, but maybe there was. I'm not sure, but war, war, and if we look at the past, you'll see a correlation. By the way, every candle that you're seeing here represent a year, right? All represent a year. You can put it in 6 months. You'll see more data, but it's basically the same thing, right? Um, going up, going up, and it correlates with war. We have a 20 war on terror, 20 years of war of terror. So that's what you're seeing here. The more money that is printed, the more money, the more we have to increase the price to buy the same amount of gold. That's a perfect way to track the money that is printed, but it doesn't always it's not always live. Sometimes it takes time. It takes time for the amount of currency being printed in the market actually affects the price of goods, commodities, including gold. It takes time. If you see this pump here, it's not a problem that started here. It started 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and then you see the effect here. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, it seems that we started another war again. And it's not a war on terror, it's a war against CV-19. And to fight that war, the US Federal Reserve had to print 40% of US dollars in existence were printed in the last 12 months. And this is an article that came out May 22nd, 2021. So that means prior to 2000, again, let me put it back in one candle. Every candle represent 1 year. So this is a candle, this is a candle. Every one of them represent 1 year. So the year for 2021 is right here, that candle in red. And the year in 2020 is that green candle here. So basically, for any one of these, so prior to 2021, this is the amount of the effect of the amount of money that was printed push the gold price from $35 all the way to, let's say, on average 1800. That's what the effect of all this money printing was. Now, in 1 year, all all this money that was printed in since 1971 all the way to 2020, 49 years, all that money was printed in 1 year, half of it. So about half, almost half of it was printed in 1 year. So what does that tell you about gold price? What do you think will happen in gold price? So it's very possible that gold price jumps like crazy, and we get 40% of that rise right here. This is a 5,000x, so 5,000%, which is 500 times. So that means the money here times the money here is 500. It's 500 times. What's 30% of that? That's basically what we could see the price of gold in the next decade, in this decade. But like I say, it takes time for things to flourish, to actually show up on as a price change. But it took like almost 50 years, guys, to have this. And then in 1 year, we printed 40% of all the money we printed in this entire section here. So there is a huge inflation problem. And remember, guys, just the Vietnam War alone was creating a panic, a national crisis, something that the government had to wake up in the night and fix, because if he had waited 6 hours more, there would be a huge problem in the world. Or another war could break out. If the countries figure it out that, hey, they've been sold a fake currency, which they just came out of a war, the Second World War, and then now they would like jump on another war again. They would want to do it because who wants to get scammed? So that's why he had to do what he did. He had no choice but to do that. But that also created a problem for us because these guys are not there anymore, right? But we have to deal with that as millennials. We didn't choose to do this, but we have to deal with what the previous generation did. And, and that's what I'm saying, guys. Go check out the hidden secrets of money, because you will understand that every currency that was created, every single one of them, since the Egyptian time until now, every single one of them went to zero. Every single one of them lost the purchase power enough that the paper itself was worth more than the currency. Now they have museums, and Hidden Secrets of Money actually went and visited a museum that was showing you all different types of currencies, all of them. 100% of all the currency that were created went to zero. Why? They all suffer the same fate. Humans desire always create a need for war. They need to pay for that war. They can't pay for the war with a limited resource like gold. They cut the tie with gold. They create currency, and they can print currency. And they print currencies until the value of the existing currency went to zero. And then they start all over again with a new currency, with a new standard. They learn from the lesson. It's going to start with gold or silver or both. 30 years after, same thing. Same thing. This is the first time in history that we have 50 years with the same currency. Usually it's 30 years before it switches to the other one, right? This is the first time in history that we have this, but eventually it's a matter of time before the currency goes to zero. So is it a good idea to trade Forex? Is it a good idea to trade Forex? You tell me. You tell me. You're swapping something that does not store its value with something else that does not store its value. Right? Spending a lot of time and energy to do that. What are we going to do with this money? Are you going to save it? Are you going to buy real estate with it? Because, hey, maybe a real estate could be a form of money, but it's not portable. Definitely not. It's not divisible. So it doesn't really meet all the criterias. But it definitely is a store of value. That's what real estate really is. It is a store of value because there will always be a need for real estate. People will always want to live somewhere. That land is a limited resource. You cannot create more earth. You cannot create another planet. If you did, then it would undervalue the current planet you have now, and all the lands would be cheaper. So let me show you a couple things to show you the effect of inflation. Look at the price of bread from 1997, which is not that far ago. A lot of you were born already around that time, till 1991. I mean, till 2021, right? Show you different price level for $5 bread. And it's saying that the price of bread were 93% higher in 2021 versus 1997. 93%, almost double the price. This is what the power of it, this is what printing money does. It raised the price for everything. It's something you can see very easy in real estate. If you think of real estate 10 years ago versus real estate now, there's a huge problem. But it's not just inflation when it comes to real estate. It's inflation and the demand. And you got people, all of them are jumping in it. You got people from China who wants to move in Canada, in the States. So there is a lot of demand, limited real estate that boosts the prices. But the addition of all of these criterias will create higher prices. But even if there was none of these criterias, as long as you have people printing money, it creates a problem. It devalues the purchase power of of the existing dollars. So whoever is saving money, if you were saving money from 97 in 2001 and you thought you had $1 million in your bank, that's what you're saving. As let's say you started working, and since then you've been putting, I don't know, $100 a month, and assuming you managed to raise your portfolio to $1 million and you're ready to retire, and only to realize that $1 million does not have the same purchase power as it had in 97. Now with your $1 million, you have half the purchase power when it comes to bread. Right? You're going to need $2 million to buy the same level of bread that you could have if you had $1 million in 97. And it's not just bread, it's any food item, it's real estate, it's taxes, gas, it's anything. Right? So that is inflation. Inflation happens when you inflate the dollar, you inflate the economy with more currencies. It's like currency is the air and the economy is the bubble. And then you're dumping air, you're dumping currency in that economy. At some point, if you blow up too much air in a balloon, it's going to explode, right? That's when you have a huge market crash. That's when you have economy crash. And sometimes you even have a currency reset, right? Sometimes you have the great reset, right? Have you heard that somewhere? Have you heard that somewhere, guys? The great reset, economic World Economic Forum, they're promoting the great reset. What are they telling you indirectly, guys? What are they telling you indirectly? Look at this. I Googled the Great Reset Economic Forum. Look what one of the first thing that showed up. What is this? Look at this. This one right here. This one right here, guys. CV19, the Great Reset. Right? What happened in CV19? That's what happened. That's what happened, guys. So, all that to say, guys, currency has an expiration date. You do not want your money to have an expiration date. That's the difference between money and currency. They look the same, except for one thing. And that one thing is the entire difference, is everything you need to know about money. Money needs to be a store of value. Why? Because it needs to preserve your time and your freedom. It needs to preserve the, the purchase power. Money is supposed to be a medium of value exchange. That's why. And currency is not it. Fiat currency, fiat simply means let it be done by government. Fiat currency is not it, because why? Government has control over it. They can print as much as they want. And it's not just it's not just the US, guys. It's everyone. Everyone is printing money at a different rate. Now, very quickly, there's something I wanted to mention. Very quickly. Do you know why other countries are using the US as a unit of measure right now? Remember, right? We need one currency for global stability in the economy. So it was the US dollars. And why was it the US dollar? Because they were the most powerful nation at the time. And they also give a receipt for that US dollar for gold until we started the dollar system. And then we removed gold. And now every currency was paired to the US dollar. If you're just joining in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. But think of it as I create this cell phone here. Okay. I create this cell phone here, and I create the cell phone, and I want to make sure that every cell phone that comes out of my factory is the best cell phone. So I'm going to use one as a unit to as a quality measure to estimate all the other ones. So this is my cell phone, and I'm comparing all the other ones. You know what? You're too small. You know, eh, you're a different color. You're not a cell phone at all, right? So that's how I know what is good coming out of my factory and what it's not good. Until the day I realize, oh my God, I did a mistake. This phone is not perfect. There is a hole in there. I didn't know this hole was bad. From now on, any cell phone that comes out will not have a hole. I have to change my unit of measure, and then I have a look at all the previous phone that I didn't let go through. And then I have to also do the same work for the new phones that are coming out of this factory. And then that's how we have ups and downs in Forex. And people are making tons of money, in, tons of currency in the Forex market. It's because they are evaluating something that is not quality with something else that is not quality. They assume this is quality until they realize there is a mistake in it. And then they fix the mistake, and then they realize there's another mistake in it. And it never stops until it will get to a point where, you know what? We're just going to throw away this phone and get a new phone. If I had to keep it simple, guys, that's the future of Forex. That's the future of Forex because it is based on a flawed concept. It was never supposed to be there. We did not need Forex when we had this. The US dollar was paired with gold. It was stable at $35 an ounce for years. Remember that? Remember this? When we had this, we were evaluating the phone with gold. Gold never changes. 35 ounces of gold will always be 35 ounces of gold from Egyptian time, Gagaskan, now. Right? That's what 35 ounce of gold is. It's still 35 ounce of gold regardless of the era. So if we're using this as a unit of measure, this is an accurate form of measurement. But if we're using something that changes, some days there is more, some days there is less, right? Then the entire economy balance with it. That's another reason why you see there is a crash in the stock market. Seems to be a crash everywhere in the world. Because all the currencies are paired with the US dollars. They're not paired with gold anymore. So when one is flawed and it's the main one, then you know all the other ones are flawed. And that's what I'm saying, guys. The future of Forex is going to disappear, just like the future of currency will disappear. Every currency goes to zero. Every currency goes to zero. And if the main one goes to zero, guess what? All the other ones will go to zero too. So that's why, to me, if you want to build wealth, if you want to build generational wealth, focusing on currency is the wrong play. It's maybe a great short-term play, but short-term play with long-term problems. Because all this energy, all this time, because you cannot get your time back, is put it on an asset. Sure, I guess we could call it an asset, but that loses its purchase power over time. It's no different than going to work and earning currencies as a paycheck. You're going to work, you earn the currency as a paycheck, the currency you're earning is losing its value. So at that moment, you have a choice. Do you buy assets and you focus on things that are keeping their value and maintaining their purchase power over time? Or do you buy a liability with it? And if you are consistently buying liabilities over assets with your currencies, you never get ahead. That's how millennials get stuck in a living to paycheck lifestyle because they focus on currency. They focus on increasing their salary to get more currencies. That's exactly what happened to me. My salary was going up, my purchase power was going down. Because why? In a couple years, the real estate and I was evaluating on two things. Can I buy a house? Can I buy cars? Car monthly payment was going up. Houses were going way up. My salary was going a little bit up, but not at the same rate. So, yes, guys, what do you do with your paycheck? With your currency paycheck? Do you buy assets? Do you buy liabilities? Do you want to build generational wealth? Or you want to live paycheck to paycheck? All right, guys, I see a couple people in the chat. Thank you for showing up, guys. Greetings, each and everyone. Hope you are having a great evening. Thank you very much for showing, Melissa. Great conversation. Absolutely, man. Yes, man. Great reset generation. Check out Peter Investor M. Check out Hidden Secrets of Money. I have a link on every clip that I do. Every video clips that I do, I have a link. And I say must watch videos. Ray Dalio's video is one of them, and the Hidden Secrets of Money is another one. Must watch videos. Every video clips I make. So yeah, check it out, guys. You're going to understand this. There is a pattern that happens every 90 years. We're right at the cusp of that. We're right at the cusp of that. What's up? What's up? Doc Hunter. Hey, that's the first time I see you on the channel. What's up? How are you doing? Hope you're still here. Let me know how did you find the channel? Was it a link? Was it recommended in your YouTube? Let me know in the chat. Thank you. Peter M, it's better to store your wealth in an asset class that stored value of your money. Absolutely. Real estate is good, man. And again, there is a difference between multiplying money versus keeping your money. Right? Real estate, I think, is an asset that keeps your money. It's not designed to multiply your money. It's not designed to multiply your money, but when it as an asset to keep your money, to preserve your money, yes. Because real estate price will always adjust itself depending on how much currency is available on the market. Because that need will always be needed. And hey, if I have to pay like the window to fix the window, I have to fix the roof. I can't ask from you a cheap salary, like a cheap rent. And then I have to pay very expensive the window and the roof. No, I have to raise the price of the rent because everything else raised. The wood, the windows, the paint, right? So that's why real estate always keep up with your purchase power goes up if you own it, because the demand forces it to raise its price when there is more currencies available. And it's a chain reaction. The basic commodities get higher in price. Everything that derives from that commodity goes higher in price. Plastics, if oil goes up, anything that has to do with plastic goes up. And if plastic goes up, groceries goes up. Right? So it's a chain reaction, guys. Everything is interconnected. So yes. And it's not just the States, guys. It's not just the States. I told you, the States is pairing its currency with everyone. This country is everywhere. This problem is everywhere. Look at this. I was looking this for Canada. This is there is even a Canada inflation calculator. And they're calculating inflation from 1915 to 1921. Right? You can go and check the numbers and the rates. But why a dollar today is worth only 5% of what a dollar in 1915 was. Only 5%. Right? If you give it a couple years, it will be 1% until it gets to a point where it's 0%. That is the destiny of all currency. 100% of the time. History has proved this to us. There will be a new currency that comes its place. And maybe right now it's cryptocurrencies. Maybe we're seeing exactly what will take over the traditional fiat currencies. Because in every country, there is this problem. Every country, there is this problem. Why? Because of this issue right here. All of them are paired to the US dollar, and the US dollar is not quality. It can be printed at any moment. So, yeah, guys, that's basically what I wanted to show you. And we were talking about currencies, like cryptocurrencies. Let me, and you know what? Bitcoins, I would say, is a safe currency. There is a fixed amount of Bitcoin that will ever be created. 21 million. We're at 18 million right now. By the time we actually reach to 21 million, we might be at the end of the century or very close to it. And yes, so most of the Bitcoins that will be in circulation already is already printed. So Bitcoin might be a great currency that will surpass or replace the fiat currencies that we're using. But sometimes in cryptocurrencies, you can have what we call the shitcoin, something that is very there seems to be almost no value in holding it. But I'm going to show you that even the worst shitcoin is better than fiat currency. And it's a great it's a bold statement, isn't it? The most scamish cryptocurrencies out there, it's still a better form than the fiat currency. And most people don't realize this. Most people don't know it. So I'm going to show you a picture. And shout out to SDP. I don't know if he's watching, but if you are, shout out to you. I'll go away. What word? She was always trying to correct my words. I don't know. Go away. Shout out to you, Melissa. Um, yes. Check this out, guys. Check this picture out. It says the US dollar looks like a shitcoin from the crypto perspective. Now, what does that mean from a crypto perspective? Well, it turns out in crypto, you can program how thing works, right? And what kind of shitcoin can I use for example? Like I want to use a shitcoin for this. Would I use Doge? I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone's feeling. I don't feel like hurting people's feeling today, but Doge is a shitcoin. All right. But let's go with American Shiba. I have one. There is a crypto called King John. Oh, yeah, look at that crypto right here. Oh, that's a shitcoin. This crypto is called King John Moon. This crypto is called Kim Jong Moon, and this crypto is literally a joke. They're trying to mimic. Oh man, look at this guy. Remember this? Who this guy reminds you of? North Korea. So it's a complete joke. They actually have NFT now, which is weird. They even changed their website. They put some money into it. Earlier this year, I even bought that crypto for fun. Look at that. It's a complete joke. It's no value in these cryptocurrencies. Shitcoin. Total shitcoin. But even that shitcoin is better than owning fiat currencies. And most people don't know that. So from a crypto perspective, there's something we call as crypto investors, we call tokenomics, right? Called tokenomics. And basically, we also go check out numbers of, hey, they don't even have, man, this coin is so shitty. They don't even have the tokenomics out there. Wow. This is how, okay, maybe not that coin because there's no tokenomics out there. Let me try to get another coin that is trending. Okay, so this coin is trending right now. I don't know why. It's called Taboo Token. I don't know what it does. Let's see. Let's see if they have a website. I just want to show you something, guys, before I go on the detail. Ooh, Taboo. Taboo tokens. Is that like a porn token or something? I don't know what it is, but it seems to have some adult contents. Okay, maybe there's a market for that. You see, even that has more value than the US dollar. Because look, so what I wanted to show you is show you the market cap, fully diluted market cap. And remember, market cap means how much, what is the price per crypto times the amount of cryptos we have in circulation. And it says there is 9.7. Let me zoom that for you guys. It says there is 9.7 billion token or taboo. That's how they call every token. They call them a taboo. So there's only 9.7 billion taboo. And the beauty of cryptocurrency is once you code it, once you mint it, you cannot go and change it. You cannot go in the background and print more and program more to be in circulation once you go and you create this. You can control how they're released, but you cannot create more taboos, right? So if one day we have 10 billion people on Earth and then you decide to give each of these people one taboo, they won't be able to do, like, you will not be able to create more. So if there is 20 billion at some point, well, taboo will be worth something. So tokenomics, we're looking at the tokenomics, how much is in circulation, what is the price, what is the market cap, and all that. Now, if we were doing the same for US dollar, how much taboo do we have in circulation? 9.7 billion. How much US dollars we have in circulation? 27 trillion in circulation. Now, that's not the worst part because Shiba is a cryptocurrency and it has quadrillions worth of cryptos in circulation. The worst part is the US dollar has an unlimited supply versus any cryptocurrency has a fixed amount of circulating supply. That is the difference. That is why fiat currency, from a crypto perspective, from a shitcoin, from the worst cryptos out there, the US dollar is a shitcoin compared to cryptocurrency. Now, in cryptocurrencies, to validate a crypto, you need a node. And the more nodes you have, the more strong the cryptocurrency is. Like Bitcoin, for example. The nodes, think of them as the miners. Miners create the nodes, and then more miners there is around the world, the more secure the system is. When it comes to the US dollars, there is only one node, and that one node is the Federal Reserve. If you destroy the Federal Reserve, you destroy the US dollar. If you destroy a miner from Bitcoin, Bitcoin is still rolling. And any coins that is minted, all of them are already in circulation. There is no node that you need to destroy because it's already out there. What else? 1% of holders owns 30%, 30% of the circulating US dollars. Right? So all this money here goes to the 1% of the world population. Not the US population, the world population, and only and 1% holds 30% of this number right here. Right? Usually in cryptocurrency, when we see that, we scream scam, because that's probably one of the founders holding a large bag and hoping to dump it to collect his money and run. That happens all the time. People hold like a large bag. They have some sort of back door they can access to sell all their cryptos before you. and that then it stops you from selling it. That's what people do in scams and cryptocurrencies. Some cryptocurrency are scam. Maybe the Kim Jong Un was a maybe this one was a scam. I think it is a scam, but the website is still running. But somehow they don't have circulating numbers for cryptocurrencies. It could be a very scam, right? But the US dollar is definitely a scam because when you have 30% of the person who owns this amount of number, 30 like this amount 30% of that number is a huge number, right? Almost $1 trillion. Maybe more. Actually, it is more. But it is a huge number. And and yes, they can dump it on everyone who has US dollar. And what would that do? It would have more dollars in circulation and accelerate the inflation issue. So yes, guys, from that perspective, it is a shitcoin. 25% supply maintained in the last 6 months. Whew. Facts. Facts. Look at that. Look at that. Remember that 40% of US dollars was printed in the last 12 months? Is so that is true, guys. That is true. And this is a huge inflationary event, huge inflationary event. And that happens in crypto. If all of a sudden you go on a public market, you dump 25% of the entire cryptos that are in existence, the market is going to go poof. Your purchase power of the crypto that you had will go near zero. It's a huge problem in cryptocurrencies, especially the ones that are doing the scams. 38 million notes printed every year. So regardless of this happening, 30 million new US dollar gets printed. What does it do? It devalue every person who's a millionaire. Every person who has 1 million, there is 30 more million dollars in circulation every year. So if you're saving your 1 million into a stable fiat currency, right? Your purchase power is being diluted every year. Loses at least 3% of value every year. This is the average inflation rate since the inception of US dollars. But this is what economists say. But for some things, it could be 6%. For some things, it could be 12%. Right? In some years, it could be 12. Some years, it could be, I don't think it'll be less than 3. But every year that you're printing these 38 millions on top of anything you have to do for war or anything else, it creates a huge problem in inflation maybe 2-3 years down the line. And it's in a bear market ever since its inception. Well, as the US dollar, as gold prices goes up, the US dollar goes down. Right? That's literally what this chart means. As the value of gold goes up, it's the US dollars that is going down. It's not that gold is gaining in value, because 35 ounce of gold, it's still 35. Actually, sorry, 1 ounce of gold is still 1 ounce of gold. But back then, 1 ounce of gold was $35, and now it is $1,800. It's the value of $1 that is dropping to the point where you need 1,800 of them to buy that same ounce of gold. So that's what that chart means. It's another way of evaluating what is happening in the market. If it goes up, it correlates with the US dollar going down. Here's another chart. Here is another chart. Let me put it in a month. So this one is tracking the US dollar. Look at that. Prior to 1986, went down. But if you put it big enough, let me put it 3 months. If you put it big enough, what do you see? Look at that. Where is the trend going? right? This is a US dollar currency index that we're tracking here. US dollar currency index. It's evaluating itself versus other currencies, its strength. And yes, yeah, maybe between 2008 and 2021, we're going up, but the bigger trend is going down. And what will happen when we hit this line? Would we break through and go up, or will we continue to go down again? Right? According to a shitcoin, shitcoins don't do that. I mean, actually, they do that. A lot of them goes to zero and it stays around zero. But the US dollar is doing that too. It's on its path to zero, just a matter of time. And maybe that time is coming much sooner than you think. Right? Always in a bear market since its inception. So, yes, I agree, because if you're tracking it further, you would have seen that the trend is still going down. So, from its entirety, it is a bear market. Even though within that bear market, you may have short burst from here to here, from here to here, it's going down. It's in a downtrend. So there is no such thing as saving currency. There is no such thing as saving currency. There is such thing as saving money. Money is what preserve your time. Now we say gold. I see J Bones here. Gold, gold, gold. Gold is a form of currency, but I have a feeling millennials are not going for gold. I have a feeling millennials and the generation after millennials will go for cryptocurrencies, which is what? Another form of cryptocurrencies, another form of currencies. They have every single characteristic of a currency. And on top of that, because of its limited supply, right? They are medium of exchange, unit of account, portable, durable, divisible, interchangeable, meaning $1 in my hand is the same as $1 in your hand. We can swap them at any time and should have the same purchase power. Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies can do that. But on top of that, they are also store of value, because why? Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Because it has not lost its value in the last 10 years. That's why. Simple as that. Look at that. Look at this graph. Look at this graph. Does that look like something that it's losing its value? No. And over time, it will stabilize. It's like it looks like a log chart. At some point, it's going to stabilize. Maybe when it reaches the close to 1,000,000 or 500,000, who knows? It will stabilize. But now it's still on its upward part. That's why it's still there. So that's what this chart is doing, guys. It's going up. Because of that, I guess you could say it's a store of value, because what's actually happening is, because of its low number of coin minted, it has to catch up with the amount of dollars that are printed. And the more dollars that are printed, the more this chart will go up, because there is only 21 million Bitcoin created that will ever be created, a fixed amount. But there will be an unlimited amount of US dollars that will be created. So it's not that Bitcoin is gaining value. It's that Bitcoin, it's the US dollar, it's losing its value against Bitcoin. And I believe, especially when we have the metaverse, we had the era of the internet, we have all that. The millennials, they won't rely on gold anymore. That's what I think. I don't think they will. The economy, the world economy will. But when it comes to the millennials, what they will choose, I think they will choose cryptocurrencies, because it fits them. It's very easy. You can put it, you don't need a vault. You can put it in your USB and carry it on. Like, I can put millions dollars worth of currencies in my USB and go to any country I want. No problem. No one can stop me. I can't do that with gold. The minute I go through the airport scanner, whoa, you have tons of gold in here. So all that makes cryptocurrency is much more efficient form of money than gold because it's very divisible, it's very portable. It's a system of exchange in itself. In itself, it is the system of exchange, the medium of exchange. So it's a perfect for currencies. It meets all the criterias. All right. So that's basically what I wanted to show you. But I got one more surprise for you. Let me know in the chat if you're excited, if you want us to see it. But in a nutshell, guys, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Any questions, anything that is not clear, anything you want to ask, let me know. Let me know. All right. I'll wait for questions. But I have something I want to show you. It's a video montage of something I did. It's the best two contents I've ever seen in my life. First was the movie Matrix, and second was the a video series called Hidden Secrets of Money. I'm telling you, once that was the link I was missing because I was doing a bunch of things. And once I figure out this, what I've learned from this video series, which part of it I shared it with you today. I learned that straight from the Hidden Secrets of Money. That yeah, the currencies, it's not, that's basically the secret that the rich knows and the poor people don't. Poor people work for currency, rich people works for money. Which site were you looking for cryptocurrencies? All right, give me a second. I always talk about this website. But let me show you again. So the website is CoinMarketCap with this logo, CoinMarketCap right here, coinmarketcap.com. And then it classifies, so it's free resource. It classifies the cryptocurrencies in ranks per market cap. And Melissa, I know you're in my Discord. You definitely want to come to my stream. I mean, at least you'll have access to the replay in a Discord. So if you miss it, at least you'll have access to it. But tomorrow, I'm going to present something, guys. You do not want to miss it. And if you're not in my Discord, you will not be able to see it. I will make the live. It will be on YouTube. But the minute you leave, the minute I finish the live, I'm going to tear it up. It's not going to stay because this is the kind of knowledge, guys, that puts you a huge, huge step forward. And trust me, I have looked for years for information like this. So I'm so excited that I'm on the verge of getting it. But I want to share it with you guys and I want you on board with me as I do it. But man, tomorrow you do not want to miss my stream. Do not want to miss my stream. If you're not in my Discord, you definitely want to watch it live. And if you're on my Discord, you can watch the replay. All right. Hit the like button. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, J Bones. Thank you very much. And I will now show you what I had prepared for you. This guy right here. This guy right here. This is a montage of video that I made. Again, I made it from Matrix and also from The Hidden Secret of Money, episode 4. Oh, sorry. Hidden Secrets of Money, episode 4. It's one of the best content online on any sector. So, yeah. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know. All right, so let me finish showing you guys this and let me know in the chat if you can hear the sound. Actually, it crashes. Sorry. Some difficult issues here. Let me turn that on. Give me a second. What's going on with the cam? Give me a second. Yeah. Camera just turned off. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I wanna show you guys this. Thank you for staying around. Thank you for staying around. And let me turn on. Oh, okay, I see. I see what happened here. So let me go find that video for you. I want to show you guys this. You got to see this. Give me a second. I call this video slavery, like being a slave. Slavery 2.0. There you go. Found it right here. All right. I am ready. Slavery 2.0, guys. This is real deal. This is going to show you how money is being created, how the basically people of wealth they maintain the power. You need to see this. Actually, it's like I said, it's from my course, guys. You can see me when I recorded my course last year in my house. So that's where I recorded my course. If you followed my course, you've seen this video before. But if you haven't, go check it out. So I'm gonna let me know in the chat if you can hear the sound, and I'm going to listen it with you as well. And let's go, guys. Can you hear the sound? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'll be what. Put a 1 or something in the chat.
This is it. Let me give you one piece of advice. Be honest.
At last. Please, come, sit.
My favorite movie, guys. And that part specifically.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole?
You could say that.
I can see it in your eyes. You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up. Ironically, this is not far from the truth. Do you believe in fate, Neo?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
The way the system works is that, step 1, the government creates glorified IOUs. These bonds, bond is the root word of bondage. These bonds increase our national debt and put the public on the hook to pay it back. Step 2, IOUs are swapped to create currency. The Treasury sells the bonds to the banks. The banks then turn around and sell our national debt at a profit to the Federal Reserve, which they probably own. The Federal Reserve then opens its checkbook that doesn't have a penny in it and buys those IOUs with IOUs that it writes, checks, on a checking account that has a zero balance. Then they give those checks to the banks and currency just springs into existence, and then the whole process repeats. This results in a buildup of bonds at the Federal Reserve and currency at the Treasury, which is really just a supply of numbers. The Treasury then deposits the numbers in the various branches of the government, and we get to step 3. The government spends the numbers on promises, public works, social programs, and war. Then the government employees, contractors, and soldiers deposit their pay into the banks, and we get to step 4, where the banks multiply the numbers by magically inventing more IOUs through fractional reserve lending, where they steal a portion of everyone's deposit and lend it out. That currency gets redeposited, and then a portion is stolen again, and the process repeats over and over, magnifying the currency supply exponentially. Then we work for some of those numbers, which brings us to step 5, where our numbers are taxed.
You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes.
Then we work for some of those numbers, which brings us to step 5, where our numbers are taxed. We pay tax to the IRS, who then turns our numbers over to the Treasury, so the Treasury can pay the principal plus the interest on bonds that were purchased by the Federal Reserve with a check from nothing. Then we get to step 6, the debt ceiling delusion. The system is designed to require ever-increasing levels of debt and will eventually collapse under its own weight because politicians always kick the can down the road. They don't want it to collapse on their watch. And finally, step 7, the secret owners take their cut. The world's largest banks own the Federal Reserve. Those banks make a profit selling our national debt to the Fed. They make a profit when the Fed pays them interest on the reserves held at the Fed, and the Fed pays them a 6% dividend on their ownership of the Fed. This is a fraud. It is a pyramid scheme, it is a Ponzi scheme, it's a scam, and it's a lie. Our entire monetary system is nothing but a form of legalized theft. But here's the biggest con job of them all. The Federal Reserve is not federal, it has stockholders. There is no federal agency that has stockholders. What's a stockholder? A share of stock represents a percentage of ownership in a corporation. So the stockholders are the owners of that corporation. Therefore, the Federal Reserve is a private corporation with owners. And you can see it for yourself if you go to the Federal Reserve's website, and it will say, the stockholders receive an annual dividend of 6%.
Did you catch it?
The stockholders receive an annual dividend of 6%.
Such as the Treasury and some of the richest people on earth at the time. To give you an idea of how rich they were, in 1910, these 6 men
6%.
These 6 men represented a quarter of the world's worth.
The stockholders receive an annual dividend of 6%. Now, we know that the stock in the Federal Reserve was originally issued to the largest banks in the United States. But because of mergers and acquisitions through the years, you can't actually trace who owns the stock in the Federal Reserve. That's a very closely guarded secret.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo.
This system is fundamentally evil. It funnels wealth from the working population to the government and the banking sector. It is the cause of the artificial booms and busts of modern economies, and it causes great disparity of wealth between the rich and the working class. And it is only possible because we no longer use real money, we use currency. But worst of all, it is a form of enslavement.
Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
Bond is the root word of bondage. Whenever a government issues a bond, it is a promise to make us pay tax in the future. Nobody asked you if you wanted to pay tax today for the prosperity we all enjoyed in the last century. Nobody is asking our children if they want to work hard in the future to pay for the prosperity we're enjoying now. George Washington once wrote to James Madison, "No generation has the right to contract debts greater than can be paid off during the course of its own existence." By stealing prosperity from tomorrow so we can spend it today, we enslave ourselves and future generations. This is the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. It's located on Constitution Street, and that is just as much of a joke as the New York Fed being located on Liberty Street. Both of them are unconstitutional, both of them limit our liberty, and they transfer wealth away from us every second of every day to the Federal Reserve, to the government, and to the banking sector.
A prison for your mind.
That's it, guys. That's what I wanted to show you, man. Telling you, man, from the my most two contents that I love a lot. I had to make this montage, man. I had to make this montage. But man, whoever wrote the Matrix, they knew what they were talking about, and so many levels, man, and so many levels. And man, the financial system is one of them. Financial system is a matrix, guys. And I love the part they're gonna say a prison for your mind. And man, it's so you can see it like when we have to pay the national debt because our tax money is going to the national debt, and the government borrows money so that they can pay for everything, fix the roads, build cell phone towers all around the city. I don't know. It could be a private company, it could be funded by government, healthcare and all that. All that is from borrowing money. So when we pay like 40%, right? When we print 40%, the government is borrowing that money from the Federal Reserve, which we learn have owners. If you go, and of course, I go back in the history on how that happened. But yeah, guys. Yeah. You gotta rewatch it, right? You gotta rewatch it. Wait, just go get the course. You'll see it too. But telling you guys, man, is telling you guys, this is what the rich knows that the poor people don't. Rich people works for money. Poor people works for currency. Right? That's pretty much it, guys. Hit the like button. I hope any questions, anything I can clarify for you, let me know. But I definitely wanted to have this topic today, guys, because it is fundamental. It is instrumental when it comes to building wealth. If you want to build wealth, if you're serious about it, it's not just retiring. It's not just having enough money to retire. It's do you want to build wealth? Because it's two different approach. But if you focus on the wealth part and generational wealth, then you will have enough money to retire and maintain its purchase power. Why? Because we don't want to be in a situation where 30 years passes and the price of bread is doubles, right? If you had your wealth saved somewhere and it wasn't growing and inflation goes there and catch up to it, it loses its purchase power because you did not have your money, you did not have your currency in something that stored its value. You had it in something that loses its value. And if it's in the form of cash, it loses its value because every year there is new money that is being printed. And what is the fate of all currency in history since the Egyptian time all the way to now? 100% of currency that were created all went to zero. So with that said, guys, focus on stocks. At least the stock has a value. A company is creating a problem, is solving a problem that is in the market that has value. If you buy a stock, you're an owner of that company. You own something valuable. Same thing in crypto. If you own a crypto, right, you help funding a startup project. If it's not Bitcoin, it's a startup project. And over time, there's a fixed amount of Bitcoin. So if you own Bitcoin, you're one of 20 million people who can have it. If you own one Bitcoin, you are one out of out of 20 million people in the world that can have it. There is 7.5 billion people in the world. So there's no way everyone in the world will have one Bitcoin. So if you manage to get one Bitcoin, you're already, like 1% of the world. So guys, look into it, guys. Buy something of value. It doesn't have to be crypto. It doesn't have to be stocks. It could be real estate. Why? There is a fixed amount of land in the world. Unless we find another Earth, real estate will always go up. Why? Because we have limited supply. The demands is keep going up. More kids are being born. I mean, actually, not we're having a reduction in kids, but we still have enough people on Earth that's going to need that land one day. So, and over time, it's going to grow. There is also a problem that can happen when you're having population, where when you have a limited amount of resources and the population is growing, the time it takes for you to have 1 billion to 3 billion is not the same that you're going to have 5 billion to 10 billion, right? And whenever you're going to get that, it's going to happen much faster. Like, you see how long it took us to get to 10 billion? From 10 billion to 20 billion, if every person have one kid, two kids, we're going to 20 billion very fast. And then what? The same real estate will be there. The same real estate will be there. So if you own real estate, you own something that is maintaining its value. Does it multiply money as fast as crypto or stock? No. But it maintains its value. It's a better form of money than stashing your money online. If you have $20,000, $30,000, you haven't spent it in a year, you are making a big mistake. Because in that same year, 40% of all the US dollars in existence were printed. So it's a matter of time before prices all over the place catches up with this reality. And that happened to the US dollar. Meaning, even if you're in Canada, even if you're in Europe, that will affect you too. Why? Because of a simple fact that the US dollar is the global currency right now, and it's being paired with all the other currency. We talked about that earlier. If you're just joining in, you missed this slide. The US dollar is paired to all the other currency, and it's not tied to gold anymore. So if this happens, if there is inflation here, the unit of measure is different. So it will affect all the other ones. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk. But I love this comment here. I was watching it and I saw it and I was like, man, you got it. I don't know if you're still here, Peter M, but Peter Investor M, that's a great point. That is why a bond market is bigger than the stock market. Right? But at the end of the day, a bond market, it's still a debt. Right? It's still a debt that is, if you're talking about for US dollars, because you can have a bond market for a company, right? This private company can create bonds too. It's not necessarily just stocks. But yeah, when it comes to the US dollar, Federal Reserve, there's lots of money in the bond market, man. Lots of money. But there is, I don't know if you catched it. There was something he was talking about, fractional reserve. This is a very important. Fractional reserve is the ability for a bank to take $1 and turn it into $9. So overall, you have $10. One for you, 9 for the bank. And the bank can lend it. And when it lends it, you have it to a new person. Then that person has $1 from your $9 that he generated from you. And then now he has the power to turn that $1 into another additional $9 again. So that's how money gets created and get expands, because of fractional lending. That the banks has, only the bank can have the power to do that. This is a real cartel, like mafioso, like a mafia cartel, right? It's like a legal form of mafia, if you think about it, because only the bank can do that. No one else can do that, but the bank can literally print money. But if I do that, I would go to jail. Anyway, the rich people do not keep most of their money in the bank. Instead, use the way the bank operates to store the wealth. Absolutely. Dude, the rich people own shares of the bank. Look at Warren Buffett, one of the most greedy investors when it comes to banks. He pays dividend, loves that. And then yeah, man, banks just they how do the bank makes money? Out of nothing. They take money from people, they multiply it, they lend it with interest to someone else. So they make money from the interest of the money that they got from you. And then yeah, it's kind of like 10x leverage. It's basically what it is. They didn't have money at first. You put some money into it. They take that money, they multiply it by 10, and then they take 9, they give you 1. And then they give you a very small percentage rate for savings, and then they're maximizing their profit. And that's how the banks gets into the $1 billion in profit every year. It's from the percentage of interest that they get from the lending part of money that they didn't have. They just printed it. It's just number adjusting. Anyway, before I go, hit the like button. I'm going to end the stream very soon. If you're watching this, just please reset the video and write a comment. It's really helping with the algorithm. It really helps when you drop a comment. Shout out to you, J Bones, for always supporting any way you can, either with the like, either being early on the chat, or either writing a comment as well on the videos. I see it all the time and I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. But thank you again. If you're watching this as well, please help with that. But guys, tomorrow, tune in. Very important show tomorrow. Do not miss it. If you're not in my Discord, you will only be able to see it live. After I turn it live, I'm going to pull it down. And if you are in my Discord, the link will be shared. But tune in, guys. It is something I've been looking for a very long time. I've been trying to mimic it myself, and I found a way to do it automatically, and I can share it with you guys too. And it's going to help the entire wealth engineering community. All right. That's what I'm very excited about it. So I'm not just going to make money from it. You guys can make money from it too. I'm going to be able to share it with you guys. But I need you to tune in, guys. Tune in to more. Very important stream. With that said, thank you guys. Thank you for showing up. And until next time.